Hello and welcome back to my channel with a new video. So I've been talking a lot about Lebanon and moving from there and moving to US, and I just want to convey that it's not all happiness and laughter. I mean, of course, you're moving out, it's hard. You're going to a new country. You have to get used to new people, new life, new surrounding, new language. It's a challenge by itself. So I just want to put the light on the hardships. I know that I might be a bit annoying to some people because I got the chance to move out, but and a lot of people do not have that opportunity. And it's actually, I'm not gonna complain, it's actually a lot better. The situation, the quality of life, it's actually a lot better from Lebanon, but it will take a toll on you in the long run. So I'm just gonna put that light on the negative sides, because a lot of people just move out and they don't look at the negative before moving out, and they think it's all gonna be really good, but it's actually not as easy as a lot of people think. So I'm just gonna talk about it and tell you guys what I've been through and how it was hard for me to go through some things. I did my nails. First time I feel like I have long nails in my entire life. It feels so weird. It's like I can't really touch anything. It's like I have to touch everything like this instead of like this. And when I'm texting, it's like, is this how all girls feel when they have a bit long? It's not even that long. Trust me, it's not. Some girls like have that long of a nail. I don't know how they work with it, and I've been so scared to like crack something. Anyways, the first thing that I felt a lot of challenge at first, it was when I started speaking the language. Of course, that's the first thing that's gonna hit you. I thought I was fluent in English, but apparently I was not. I could write pretty well, I could read fine, I could understand most of it, but you're never really ready to like speak to people normally in a new country and expect yourself to understand every single detail. You're just not. A lot of the things they say I didn't really understand or really didn't catch, because they actually, especially Texans, they have a bit different accent, and you have to catch it. And I had teachers that had really heavy Southern accent. So my English class, it was actually a Southern dude. He had a bit of a heavy accent. It was fine. Like, I'm not saying it's ugly accent, whatever. It just, I wasn't prepared for it. So that English class, the first month, I had to really focus a lot on what he was saying, or just after class, I would just ask people what he meant by this. If you lived in US all your life and you speak English pretty well, I don't think you're gonna have that much of a difficulty to understand. But coming from someone outside, I was like, whoa, I was very overwhelmed and I couldn't really cope with it that fast. But also I had my first class. There's a lot of presentations and oral presentations, and I was very overwhelmed because literally the first day there, I had to present something, and I wasn't ready. I was that type of person that I have to prepare myself ahead of time for a presentation, but apparently I'm way better when I don't prepare. The thing is, when I think a lot about presentation and presenting a lot in front of a lot of people, I get a bit of anxiety, but when you're put in the moment, you're like, okay, whatever, and just go with it. And it's actually way easier than just preparing ahead of time. So literally every presentation I had, I just said what I said because it was way less anxiety. That's a tip right there. Don't think too much ahead and just throw yourself. I mean, some people like to really prepare ahead of time, but that's how it works for me. So I had a lot of trouble speaking to people, and it's hard just to switch, because I still speak, I mean, Arabic and French at home, and then when I go out, it's all English, and I can't switch because I can't only say some words in that specific language. I don't know, that's how I'm programmed, and when you just remove that freedom and tell me to speak only one language, it was really hard and overwhelming. I just had to only stick with one language, and it was actually my third language. I kind of freaked out at first, but it actually works out. I think it worked out. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm that like fluent. I think I'm fine. Hopefully. Some people actually really spot my accent and be like, where are you from and whatever, because my accent is a bit different than other people. The thing with me, I catch really quick, so sometimes I will speak with it, like an Asian accent, because I'm living in like a Asian neighborhood. It's not helping. Sometimes I would speak in a French accent, sometimes an Arabic accent, or I met a few times with like people that came from Britain, so sometimes I speak with a British accent, and it's all over the place. So sometimes it's very hard for people to know where I'm from, but I think I'm working on it, guys. I'm really working on it. Also, aside from the language, which was very hard, it's like switching personalities. The moment you step out of your place, it was very overwhelming. You feel very trapped, like you can't really speak the language you spoke all your life. And yeah, and it was, at first it was a bit of anxiety, because every time I used to like buy something, I have to think ahead of time like what I have to say, or that's before I had so much anxiety just going out and doing daily stuff. It is hard, like, even though like I'm a person that used to speak English pretty well, like it wasn't that fast and it wasn't that fluent, but understood people really well, fine. And it was fine. I don't know why I had that much anxiety. It just something new, I guess. It's a change. You'll get anxiety. I got anxiety. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just telling you my opinion and what I had to go through. Also, once you leave home, you'll have, of course, that feeling of homesickness, and it didn't really hit me till the third, fourth year. They were very hard on me, and I still think sometimes I feel very homesick. I just feel homesick. I miss a lot of people there. I miss my cat there. I left my cat. I just left everything and I moved here. Even my parents, my mom, most of the time she lives there. Sometimes she visits, but she's still away, and I can't just go out and see her whenever I want. It's not like we live in the same even country or neighborhood. She's way far away from me. And my dad, most of the time, he barely visits here because he doesn't have his green card or whatever. He has to get a visa, and it's really annoying sometimes. So I have to go there to visit, and it's also expensive. It's not that easy, guys. It's really not, just to spend every time 1,000 something just to visit your family, just to see your family. It's not like even from state to state. A lot of people there really like A lot of people here that have been raised here with their parents don't really understand that. I really try to explain what I'm going through, but they won't understand because they lived with their family here all their lives, or maybe in another state. It's way easier to see them, and when they hear me, they think, oh, I'm not really independent, that I have to see my parents that much. But when you take that freedom from someone and you just tell them you can't really see your parents unless it's just once a year or like once every 2 years, it can be very frustrating. I didn't really notice that till I moved out, that I really cared about my parents. I mean, I knew I loved them, but I didn't know how much I really cared about them till I left. I didn't know how much I cared about my country till I left. You just don't know. A lot of people there say, oh, I wish I can leave. Trust me, I left. I'm not blaming you. At some point I told myself I want to leave, and I left. Sometimes you just wish you want to go back, but you have your life here now. You have a job, you can't just leave here. And if you leave here, you're gonna have the same anxiety just to get used to living there again, because I've been away for 7-8 years. It's just very draining. If you have never moved, it is very draining. I moved from Lebanon to here, to Texas, then Texas to New York. This between states was not as hard, but the country, when you move to a whole new country, it's very draining mentally. Maybe you're not gonna feel it the first year, you're not gonna feel it the first few months. I didn't feel it till the 3rd year or 4th year. You start noticing you're missing events, you're missing people, your friends' engagements, you're missing your friend's baby shower, whatever. You're missing a lot of stuff that are related to people you care about, and you just can't be there. It's impossible. You have to free yourself from classes, you have to free yourself from exams, you have to free yourself from your job. I don't know if it's possible to just take a break and tell them bye. It can be very hard just to leave everything, and for a fact you're gonna lose a lot of friends because of that, because you weren't there in those moments. So naturally your friends are not gonna be there for you because you weren't there for them. I totally get it. I lost a lot of friends. I'm not blaming anyone for it. I'm actually mostly the one to blame, because I just left. I didn't really think twice. I was like, I need a better life and I'm gonna go for it. But if you don't care about all that, friends or whatever, yeah, it's gonna be easier for you. But for me, I care a lot about that, like just surround myself with people that I really care about. Also, the shock of changing. Oh my god, maybe that's the hardest one. The shock of like changing new places and changing your point of view and changing your perspective. I changed way too much from when I first came here till now. You change the way you think, you change the way you think of life, you change your point of view of life, you change your process of thinking, priorities just shift. It's normal. If that's happening to you, it is completely normal. It can be hard, yes, because when you go back, how you view life is going to be very different from how your friends at home feel like or view life. It's going to be very different. I felt like I just didn't belong there, and that's the hard part of, if you want to go back, you'll go back, but it's very hard to go back. You won't really agree with people, you won't really relate to people. For me, relating to people is very important, and I don't have that anymore. It's very hard to find someone you can relate to. It's hard to find someone that have been through the same things that you've been through. It's very hard to find someone that have the same point of views as you. You just changed. Positive thing that I became really way more open-minded, like to new ideas. If someone tells me, oh, like I think this then this, I might not agree with it, but I will definitely understand what they're coming from and where they're coming from, and how, you know, how they view life. I totally understand it, and now I understand way more that everyone has their own point of view and everyone have their own experiences, and that's how they've been shaped, I guess. Like, experiences really shape the person. Before I felt like I was in a very closed bubble, because a lot of people share the same thing as I did. Like, we have the same grudge towards the government, of course. We have we went through war, we went through a lot of shit. And we share the same grudge, trust me. Every Lebanese person will tell you that. There are exceptions, of course, that are living in a lie or are benefiting from the government and are with them, but I can assure you 99% of the people hold a very bad grudge towards the government, and they want them gone. It's not like I'm Americanized now, no. I still do a lot of the things the Lebanese way, and I still do, and I think I will always do it that way. But a lot of the things I think about, like, just change. Also, it was more extra harder for us because we're a Muslim family, and of course there's not as many Muslims in America as there are Christians or atheists, and I totally understand. I went to here understanding that fact, but it's just hard to go through holidays and events without, you know, a community. Like, I saw there's a lot of Jewish communities in Brooklyn. You feel like there's a unity, but when you're the only person that, like, there are I'm not gonna say no, but it's just very hard to just put yourself in there. You're gonna go through like all the holidays alone, all the events alone. I went through Ramadan, not because of its quarantine, but usually every year I go through it alone. So yeah, it's plus, dude, there's not as many halal places as you think. There's not. They're just not. It's hard to find, you know, meat you can eat. Like, I think I've become vegetarian because of it. I eat way more fruits and vegetables than I ever did in my entire life, which is really good. I'm not complaining, but sometimes you just feel like you want to eat that burger, you know? I might do a video on that, actually, like just how to find the best halal places in New York and where to go. I think that'd be interesting. If you guys, I don't know, if there's a lot of Muslims watching me or what. Whoa, my voice cracked. Anyways, I think that's all I want to say. So the point is I want to portray is that it's not as easy as just like moving out and, oh my god, my life is way better. You're gonna miss people, you're gonna feel lonely. I have actually anxiety way more now than I ever did. At some point, I think I had depression. I wasn't diagnosed with it. I don't want to say, oh my god, I was depressed. I wasn't diagnosed, but hell, it was pretty close. I think it was pretty close. It did not feel good. It did not feel amazing. Just feeling very alone all the time and finding no one to hang out with. If you want to go back, it's very hard to go back because you're not gonna agree with a lot of people's opinions after that, and you're gonna see Lebanon in a whole new light. You're gonna see the people there different. I'm not saying different is bad, different can be great, but it's just hard to adapt because I'm not really adapted here yet, and I won't be adapted there. So it's like I'm in between, and it's very, very annoying. Like, oof, it can be very annoying because you're like, oh, am I the only one who feels that way? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who feel that way. Anyways, if you like this video, please a thumbs up. If you like my content, please subscribe. And dude, my hair is not cooperating today. And I put my Instagram somewhere. I don't know, somewhere. I'll see you later. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.